Hello, and welcome to Talking to Food Safety Professionals. My name is Dr. Jennylynd James, and I'm a food safety professional with over 30 years of experience in the industry. And with me today is Joseph Laino. Joseph, or Joe, as we like to call him, is Joe has over 40 years of experience in the food industry in many different capacities. So working in industry, also consulting and managing, auditing staff, etc. So Joe, please tell us what you would like to discuss today.
Hi, Jennylynd, and
Yes.
thank you for having me back. I appreciate it. So it's become a bit of a pet peeve, okay, that when GFSI was launched, oh, so many years ago, its intent ultimately was for it to become the one-stop shop, the only audit you'd ever need to show customers. And for a variety of reasons, and some of them self-inflicted, we have strayed so far from that, I think,
Yes.
that it calls into question, why are we doing what we're doing? GFSI was supposed to supplement and in fact help us as industry regulate FDA inspections and help us to better prepare for FDA and state inspections.
Yes.
But it's evolved into this thing where even though you're a GFSI certified facility, your suppliers are still coming to your facility for multi-day audits.
The customers, yes, they want to know
Sure.
based on their own checklist
Sure.
what
And
you're
the
doing.
customer is not necessarily accepting that third party audit anymore. Some major retailers have always had addendums on their GFSI audits. And I guess that's okay because there are only 10 or 15 additional questions. And
Right.
those questions actually pull from the GFSI audit.
Hmm.
But just in my specific instance here, I've experienced 3 or 4 customer audits just this year alone. And
Yes.
the facility that I work with is a GFSI certified company.
I wonder
So
if it's because these customers are not stakeholders when it comes to reviewing and revising some of the
sure,
GFSI
I'm
schemes.
sure of that. I'm absolutely certain of
Yeah.
that.
So if they're not part of the process in creating the auditing scheme, then they don't have confidence in it.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yet, wasn't that the intention of GFSI?
Yes.
It certainly wasn't the only intention, right?
Right.
I think GFSI, when they launched their programs, part of the intention was for this to be the end all be all
Yes.
and here we are, 20 something years later, and we've gotten so far from what it was intended to be. And I understand that things evolve and change is guaranteed, but um, why are our customers and our clients not accepting that anymore?
Yes. And to boot, the GFSI schemes are updated, for example, BRCGS every 4 years. So
Right.
during that time, the industry has enough opportunity to comment on changes that they want to see
Hmm.
in the revised standard. So
Hmm.
there should be no question, I think, of not having enough details in whichever scheme is the current
Sure.
scheme or the
Sure.
correct
Sure.
current version of the auditing scheme. Because people have the opportunity, the industry has an opportunity to comment
Hmm.
and make changes if
Yeah.
they strongly
Yeah.
feel that is not sufficient detail.
Yeah. And I mean, just with current events now, with edition 10, right, of SQF in the very near future, I think the changes this go around will be far more impactful than all of the other versions.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to food safety culture and environmental monitoring and corrective action and change management, and all of this is so needed. But yet, even with these very positive changes that Edition 10 is going to bring, I doubt that supplier management will change, and they'll say, "Oh, well, you're an SQF, BRCGS, FSSC. We're not going to come visit you. We're going to just take your report at value." Even if it's a situation where perhaps there's a new facility that has to be qualified, all
Yes.
right, a new supply, then that should just simply be you come, you tour the facility, you review the SQF
Report.
BRCGS report
Yes.
and leave. It shouldn't have to be a 2 or a 3 day. And unfortunately, that's what it's become. And I question the value that adds.
Yes, yes. It's now another question I would have is are the people in the food safety departments at our customers actually reading the GFSI audit reports? Because if they read them, they might get all
Right.
the information they needed
Right.
from the reports.
I remember back only, and this is even not even within more than the last 5 or 6 years, you would send your certificate to your supplier,
Oh,
okay? And that would be good enough.
right.
And then that evolved to, well, now the supplier is asking for our corrective action report and
Okay.
our certificate.
Yes.
Now it's completely evolved to where the customer wants to see your entire report.
Right. And that's
And
okay if they read it.
right. So, number one, what is the value in my sending you that 18-page report if you're not going to read the whole thing? That's number one. Number
Mhm.
two, I don't necessarily agree with sending my entire report. Um, the purpose of my audit is to identify nonconformances. Well, here's my nonconformance summary sheet.
Yes.
This is how we corrected it. The certification body accepted it. They closed it. Here's our new certificate. So I just think, and I'm not here to criticize why it's happening. I'm just questioning how have we evolved to where we are today. And we can very easily say, well, there's been some very high profile recalls
Yes.
with companies who are GFSI certified, and of course, a few come to name. But those are, and I'm not trying to minimize certainly what happened with those instances, but those are generally very, very, very few and far between.
Right. It's a rare occurrence.
I believe if I'm a supplier, Jennylynd, and you're supplying me, I might come for a 1 day facility inspection. Okay, because food safety really starts and stops on the factory floor. Your programs and your documentation are what drive what goes on in the plant. So I would probably see, and I do this with my suppliers. If you've got your certificate, if you've got, okay, well, somebody's done their homework, right? I just want to come tour the facility so I can see how my product is produced.
Yes.
You can never have enough eyes in the factory, in the facility. But as time goes on and time evolves, I think we've strayed from the initial purpose. And again, I'm not here to criticize. It's just I wonder why.
Yes, and my question is, how can the industry, the food industry, push back?
Well, that's a great question. It's easy for me to say that because I'm not on the purchasing side. And I know of companies who charge their supplier a fee for them to come audit the facility. Um, I know of a company that says flat out, no, you're not coming in here. Here's our certificate. I've given you the report. Here's the corrective actions. There's no need for you to come here
Mhm.
and tie up 2 days or a day and a half of my team's time when we've already proven to a certification body that we meet the standard.
Yes, so that's one way of fighting back, but there's just the risk of losing the business,
Of course.
right?
And you have to weigh, and again, here we are that in as much as food safety is everybody's, oh, we're so worried about food safety, but we don't want to lose the supplier. We're worried about food safety, but we don't want to rock the boat. We're worried about food safety, but so, like I hear what you're saying, but if I don't know. I mean, I guess ultimately it comes down to it's a business decision, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
If
But
you're a
if
sole, I'm sorry.
I think if many companies push back, not just one or two,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
if it's like a combined effort,
Hmm.
then the companies that are making unreasonable requests would have to listen. But if it's just one or two companies,
Right,
it would be seen as a problem. It would have
right,
to be a concerted effort within
right.
the industry to
I,
recognize the third-party certifications and
you
just
know,
see that through.
if and not I didn't without naming names, but of the big box retail stores, okay,
Yes,
the biggest one out there,
yes.
if they're willing to accept an addendum to the audit and call it a day,
Mhm.
why can't everybody else accept that?
Yes,
And certainly I applaud that particular big box company, and its competitors for that matter, because they all do the same thing. They all accept the report at face value. Um,
and
understanding
does
that,
the addendum add anything extra to the audit?
I mean, you've done as many audits, if not
Yes.
more audits than I have.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's necessary.
It just regurgitates. There's 12 or 13 questions
Yes.
in that particular addendum,
Yes, not
and the
useful
and,
at
and the
all.
information comes right out of the report.
That's right. It's
Okay.
not useful. So
So,
I think it would have to take, like a combined effort, everyone in the industry to push back
mhm.
and say, these extra supply audits are not
I agree.
beneficial,
I agree.
except if people are trying
Well,
to
right,
grab some money,
right, right.
you
And
know.
that's ultimately it's what's the goal of every business? To make money, right?
Yes. But it's not a
So
reasonable way to make money by forcing your supplier to pay you to audit. That's
yeah, no, exactly, exactly.
not reasonable at all.
So
So,
it's unfortunately, to your point, you're going to have to get not just one company to push back. You're going to have dozens and dozens
yes, yes,
of
they have
of
to say
big
stop.
name companies
Mhm.
to start pushing back. You're going to need the Nestle's of the world and the Frito Lay's of the world, the Mondelez, the major players in the food
Yes,
industry.
yes. If they
You're going to
get
need them,
involved,
right?
then the nonsense will stop.
Right. I mean, and those companies like those, they've got multiple people in their food safety departments,
Yes.
as opposed to 99% of the suppliers I work with and consult for and work for and audit. Their food safety team is two people.
Yes. Quite
So now
lean,
you're
a
you're
lean team.
right. So
Yes.
now when you have a customer come in for a 2 day audit, you're taking that food safety person out of their element for 2 days.
Yes, and
right?
away from the job that they were there to do,
Right.
which is
I
food
took
safety
one day
management.
off. I took one day off yesterday, came back today, and I was like, oh my Lord, I was, come back to 100 emails and
Yeah.
5,000 things. So it's a challenge, but it change comes slowly, right?
Yes,
If
yes,
ever.
but it starts with the conversation and
Mhm.
spreading the word so that people will think twice. Say, why am I doing this? If
Right.
nobody dissents, nobody says anything, well, then it would be assumed that this is quite acceptable. So I'm glad we had this conversation today.
Thank you.
People listening in the future would sit back and think, how can I challenge the current situation with
Yep.
less second
Yep.
party audits
Yep.
and
Yep.
less
Yep.
never ending? So thank you so much, Joe. It's a very interesting topic. I wouldn't say
Thank you.
controversial because I'm sure many people are thinking the same thing, but they're not putting it out there. But food for thought. So thank you so much for this
You're welcome.
topic
Thank you for
today.
having me again. I appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Please hit the like button, like our video, and remember to subscribe to the channel Food Safety Smart so you can be notified every time we interview another amazing food scientist. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you.